There we go.
No, so, anyway. No, I forgot to hit the start streaming part. Like an idiot. Now it should pop up.
Recap what we just talked to ourselves about.
Exactly, because it's been an interesting evening. First of all, Anaya will not be joining us, but thank you for providing us with the Hero's Feast. Thank you to Ripped Reptiles, a local scaly reptile rescue here in Eugene, Oregon. They help provide us with printer paper and have been helping us with printing out some extra like third-party content type books and stuff to improve our games. Thank you to Lo-Fi Geek for the music for tonight's breaks and all of that stuff. Yes, Anaya, you are in the chats, but you is not physically here. But thank you for providing me with an out for Kelora for the evening so that I don't have to do something terrible to your character. Just saying. I can read that from here, ironically.
So we're fixing to go through the portal.
Yes, as we left off, the party was fixing to step back through the portal to Kastara, having spoken with the Red Dragon, been giving their shopping list of interesting and necessary items that they needed to procure for said entity. And basically, the group got one hellishly large lore dump last week. And we are running off of Thomas's notes for the evening at this point.
So as I step through the portal, where do we get? Where does it dropping us in Kastara?
Actually, in Kastara, it will end up dropping you off around the central hub of the tree. There are, to this day, which you remember how when you came in at first around that big central hub, there were all sorts of like miscellaneous people doing whatever, almost looked like a grand bazaar had spread around it and everything. They would be there. Well, no, you came in through the gates, so the way
we
that
passed through it on the way to where we're going. We passed by it.
Yeah, the way that it's set up, the city is quartered off, and each of the quarters has a giant bridge that goes up to a higher up area on the tree.
Is there like are there mines around here, or a mining?
Kind of. The ground below, where this very much about 400 feet in the air raised platform and bridges are suspended from the tree trunk, at one point, probably about 50 years ago, was full of water.
Okay.
So the dried river or lake bed is where you all had seen those crystals and things like that forming, and those are mined because they are concentrated wild magic, basically, in a crystalline form.
Do we need to find 12 tons of raw material? I still have no clue how we're going to carry or transport, but we need to find.
It's
2
called a
tons to
delivery
go.
service.
Well, I mean, like I guess mining or blacksmithing, the blacksmiths would have some, but they wouldn't have this much weight. And copper. You need 10 tons of copper.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm gonna head to the smithing corridor and see if I can't find some
Alright.
metal mining or metal merchants.
Alright, so as you all like exit the portal, the first thing you notice is Kelora steps through with you. And when they pass through the portal, once they get there, they don't say anything. You're pretty sure they're still shocked from basically the bug zapper incident. They haven't been acting quite right ever since. Not to be surprised, all things considered. They just kind of wander off, muttering something about, I need better armor. That was not cool. I need better protection. I need better equipment. I have money. And that's all you hear as Kelora just kind of takes wing and poof into the markets. You catch glimpses of them every now and then. You'll catch glimpses of them throughout the day, but other than that, they don't stop. They're very focused on fixing their own issues.
Right.
So,
I mean,
while you're heading to the blacksmith, are you going with, or are you going in a different direction? Well, first of all, what's the shopping list? Y'all might want to discuss what y'all got to pick up in case you can split the levels.
beholder. We need to find a beholder or collector. Need a sapphire lens, 3 inches in diameter, 2 tons of gold, 10 tons of copper, a cauldron of everything, or blacksmith. Moderate initiate tools, I think is what it says. Pound of nag's hair, night nag's hair. 5 teleport. Oh, we got those.
Night hag's hair, yeah.
And then that's all stuff we were given.
Alright, so some of that you will be able to procure. Some of it, like you said, like the copper and things of that nature, you would technically be able to buy here.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna head, because I'm gonna head to the blacksmith quarter, see if I can find what I can find. Then is there like a? I would need like a tinkerer's or. Yeah, so I'm gonna head there first, and then I'll probably head to find somebody that makes spy glasses. See if I can't find the lens from like
oh yeah, you needed a sapphire lens, like
someone that makes astronomy, like that a quarter. Then
alright.
head to the magic people, probably magic quarter.
Right.
Probably.
What you doing for this?
What else do we need? A blesser or beholder?
Well, we need to find a beholder collector.
Yeah, a particular beholder is in town. And he's findable, or they're findable.
I'll go look for the beholder.
You're gonna need your black market contacts for that one. That's a whole bunch of some fun stuff, but absolutely.
Oh, I could do it. I was a rogue and an assassin for years. I got this.
Still are, technically.
I got this.
Yeah, so I'll let you do that. I'm gonna go see if I can't procure some of this stuff in the blacksmithing corridor.
Alright, so I need each of you to roll a d20 for me, please.
18.
18.
Don't like that. So
Oh, my bag is tight.
Hard to read.
Really.
They're pretty, but
They have skulls in them, and they're cool, but like I can't see shit.
that's a problem.
Give me a second. My bag's knotted.
Well, if you stop tying the string around the top of the sack, it wouldn't knot up on you like that.
Hey, my sack needs knotted sometimes.
It'll last longer that way.
Kids. It's an outdated procedure.
It is an outpatient procedure, I would know. No, seriously, February.
Yeesh.
I've been fighting to get that done for 20 years.
I'm circumcised. There's no doctors going near my chick again.
I'm circumcised and I've had a vasectomy, and I'm cool with it. Please excuse our random
Is this
side
just a
chatter.
flat D20?
Yep, just flat D20. You had an 18, right?
Yep.
19.
19? Okay, so you're first. So what you get to think about what you're going to want. Keep in mind, you will have to talk, barter, banter, and convince people to get you the best price on what you're asking for.
I'm a Jew. It's fine.
You can say that. If I say that, it's anti-Semitic.
I am.
That's why you can and we can't. Okay, so starting with you then, Ronan. After you make your way, and once you hit the market district, you find yourself slowly weaving towards the back alleys, having agreed upon going and looking for this collector, and having heard rumors just through the grapevine that the only that there was a particular beholder somewhere that does deal in black market goods mostly. So As you make your way through the back, you see all sorts of types of people. There are beggars. There are obvious people who are the standard issue thug, just sizing you up to see whether or not you're worth trying to rob. They're thugs. They look at you and, well, you've actually got a little bit of the road on you at this point. So you look rough enough, because you're not in all pomp and circumstance, as it were, and cleaned up right now, that they actually think twice about it and decide to wait for an easier mark. Just because you actually look like you've been in a fight or two recently, and as a result, you catch them before they catch you. I do need you to roll a perception check for me, though.
Yeah, 8 plus 5, 13.
13?
Yep.
Well, I didn't change it or anything. I put my thumb on top of it when I rolled. That nice pale blue die is my sleight of hand check. So I need to see your pockets, please. Just hand me your character sheet.
You didn't have 20.
Yep.
Oh.
That's why and this is how I deal with.
There's stuff written all over those sheets, front, back, side to side, up, down.
I started a whole new sheet, probably fit in my pockets.
I just started using the backs to scratch paper.
I have those too, but I'm like...
And as you're perusing through, a small child gets shoved out of a side alley into you by a larger child. Just like being a bully and shit like that. Slams into you and scurries away. Crying. They look like their lips split a little bit. It looks like the kid actually punched them and knocked them into you. You feel the collision of the kid in you. You do not notice as they pull something from your pocket, though, and about 30 seconds later, you notice that your pockets are a little lighter than when you started. You are going into the dregs of society. Little kids don't know any better. The big thugs won't try and rob you, but the street urchins might try and pick your pocket.
I was testing on my let them get away with it. Let's just say that.
They were no, these kids were slick about it. You didn't feel a damn thing. There's a part of you deep down that goes, props.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, they got it done. I'm not going to say nothing.
And not to mention, the little one took a fist to the face in order to get it done believable. I mean, like, showmanship alone, that's...
Right.
Proprietarily, you were impressed. So, after a few minutes, the alleys start getting darker. The shade doesn't quite seem to let light in, and you find yourself at a crossroads in a maze of alleys. You're pretty sure you're not even sure where you are anymore. So what do? What are you looking for? Yeah, I mean, you've got your standard issue miscreants, some seedy-looking fuckers here, there, and everywhere. Couple groups of thugs, some beggars.
Someone that looks like they're tough, but doesn't quite fit in with everybody else.
Go ahead and roll perception.
$23.
That'll do it. Alright, so after a little while, just kind of wandering aimlessly through the alleys, you come across a beggar, and because you're specifically looking for something that's out of place, what you notice is that the band of a ring that he has that looks like it could very well be brass, on the underside of it, as if he's flipped the band around entirely. You watch him palm as he's going like this. He shifts his hand a little bit, and you catch the spark of a relatively large diamond on that ring band. He's obviously much. Your basic appraisal of it would be that that's about a 500 gold diamond. So, rock. And his beggar's cup is full, but the only people around here seem to be broker than God. Not the church. God, who has no need for money.
So I just want to go up to him and just talk to him quietly.
What you saying?
So I get out a copper and I go to hand it to him. And right as he reaches out for it, I kind of his hand and flip it over and go, that's a little big for a beggar.
Alright. So,
Kind of call him out.
okay.
And right as he reaches out for it, I kind of his hand.
Yep. So, as you grab his hand when he because he just puts his bowl out as he sees the cup coming, when you reach down and grab his hand, it jerks his hand out like this, and he watches, he smiles, and the teeth are gold inlaid with gems. Well, aren't we the clever one? His eyes are bloodshot and yellowed. Strange purple glow comes from them. His hands are a bit pockmarked. Up beneath the robes, the parts that you couldn't see aside from the ring. So what is it I can help you with?
Just want to know what your story is, my friend.
Well, I'm here. I do things. People give me money. You seem to question this little bauble on my hand. Well, much like the teeth, it was a gift. See, one of the gods kicked these in, and certain gentlemen found it entertaining to fix them. He didn't like the man who kicked him in and thought it was funny.
Certain gentlemen, like who?
Well, now that would be telling.
Flick him a gold and be like, don't worry, we're all friends here.
Go ahead and roll persuasion. If you watch my hands, you can normally get the difficulties. I do that on purpose so that I don't forget what they are.
17 plus 2, 19.
As the gold coin goes flipping up, he reaches up, snaps it really quick. Right, so we can talk, but not here. I mean, everything has ears in this place. Come with me. And he starts leading you off down through an alley, and we are going to turn now around to Torin while you start figuring out how you're going to coerce this person into taking you and doing all that stuff. How you want to set this up for you. And we're going to go to you, Torin, who you've made your way into the market districts, aiming specifically for blacksmith shops, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Any particular metallurgist specializations you're looking for? anything that you would look for in a storefront that would make it more alluring to you as a particular place to stop with what you're looking for.
It'll be the easiest thing probably for me to get my hands on. I'm gonna look for a shop that sells tools because I need a set 4 sets of blacksmith moderate initiate tools.
Okay, so you need like moderate level of quality. You need them to actually be of reasonable quality. Or
I need them to not be Walmart brand. I need them to be like the one.
Craftsman, but not Snap-on. Got you.
I
Hashtag
love-
not sponsored.
I mean, I like. You know, you go to, like when I go to Home Depot, like there's certain tools I buy because they're great, and then there's certain ones I buy because of the fucking warranty. So, like, I ain't buying power tools at Wally World, but I am buying them at, like, you know, I'm looking for a rep, like, not a general
Harbor
store, not a
Freight,
general
but
store, like a specific, like this guy only deals with
So you're looking for somebody who basically specifically.
sells specialty tools,
Got
not just a general.
All right. So go ahead and roll your perception.
Oh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Well, that'll definitely do. So after a little while of searching, you do see a few shops where they seem to make some more like specialty, like craftsman's tools, things like that. But a lot of it looks like it's mediocre at best. It's more like what you would expect somebody who was just starting to dabble in it to buy.
Apprentice type
Service,
stuff.
serviceable, but definitely not for somebody who means it.
Okay.
Wandering around, and you find yourself in front of this building after about 20-30 minutes of it. And for the record, you guys are probably about 1,000 yards apart now at this point, so about 3,000 feet, give or take a half mile. You come across this building. The doors are shorter than what a person of your stature would normally have on their home. You can see normal human-sized racks outside and what looks like a roll-up garage door installed that's high enough for anything that would be like a medium-sized or large creature to get in or out through. And inside of this, because it's rolled up, it's business hours, there is a full forge and a very elderly looking gnome gentleman sitting over top of an anvil with some of the smallest smith's tools you've ever seen that are still have enough weight to be functional, hammering out lock picks in 4 wax. Like what you would have considered like the lockpicks that you were seeing sold for 20 to 30 silver at the places you've been prior to this. This guy has a bin that you see sitting really close to the front of this gate where you would fit through the entryway. It says any 10 for 5 silver.
Okay.
It's like he does this just to keep his practice in. It's what doesn't seem to notice you, seems far too focused, but you watch in the time that you're just standing there over about 2 minutes as he pumps out like 15 definitely serviceable lockpicks and 2 chisels.
Does he have an apprentice or anybody that's in there that, or like like someone in there just is just him?
It looks like it's just him hammering away right now.
I'm gonna walk up. So I'm assuming it's like a garage door, so it's gonna be a little bit like a wide, a little bit wider.
Oh yeah,
piece of frame. So I'm just gonna walk
basically
up.
he has a roll down door over a major entryway to his forge so that he can vent off the heat and accommodate larger patrons.
So I'm gonna walk up and kind of just rap on the like basically side of the door.
Like where the guide rails are, basically.
Yeah, and to knock on that to get his attention, and just say, "Excuse me, sir."
How hard you swinging your hand?
I'm not like trying to punch it. It's more like you know. Go up
Well, keep in mind he is swinging a hammer next to a roaring forge while working on smelting metal. How hard are you hitting this guardrail?
Well, I feel like me walking up and it's somewhat daylight, he's gonna see my shadow, so it's just basically like a...
You ever seen somebody so into what they're doing that they got a rhythm?
Yeah, but when the light changes, it pisses them off. So like, if I stand and when I walk in, I'll block this light, natural light.
Alright.
And just knock on the door and just be like, do you have, can I have a minute of your time?
So, as you knock, he hears you. He does one quick hard. It almost looks harder, but you can't really tell. Swing, and you watch as he knocks off a perfect lockpick, tosses it into another bin that says 10 gold each.
Okay.
And I mean, like, this thing would make you drool looking at it, Ronin. It's standard iron. The difference is the way that he hit it. Everything is perfectly shaped. All the tumbler catches are at the exact right angle, and it is glass smooth on the offcut.
He's like punching out like his hammer is like a punch.
Yeah. He's just, oh, customer, wham, ping, done.
Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if you could help me out with maybe finding a few things or pointing me in the direction. I'll pay
Well-
you for your time.
Well, my time, it's,
I won't take too much of your time. I have a couple of questions.
my time is mine. You don't have to pay for that. But, what is it you're looking for, youngin'?
I need 4 sets of blacksmith tools, but not like master craftsman, but like quality to where experienced person would be, they work great.
What are you trying to use it to do?
I was actually sent to buy them. They're for another being that's using them to build something.
Well, what are you building? Because that'll determine what I need to make for you. Because if it's too weak, it'll break while you're making your thing. If it's too strong, well, I'll end up charging you more than you're capable of paying.
I know it's going to be used to mold and fabricate gold and copper. So
Okay, so you need, like...
more malleable metal, but not exactly the steel like you're punching out right now.
Yeah, you aren't going to need to hit tumblers with that. Alright then, give me a few moments. You said you needed how many pair?
4 sets, please.
4 sets. And, would you be having the things on hand to pay for it?
Currently I have a decent amount of silver coins, and I do have some gold and platinum.
You'll
So-
get paid at least 600 gold from the thing and the stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
I must have forgot to write down how much we got last week.
Well, I mean, it was when we raided all those boxes, so you got a whole bunch of stuff, plus there's all these holders.
Oh, that's right. And I didn't get a lot of gold or copper out of those. I got
No, but you got a buttload of stuff.
Yeah.
You got more stuff, you know. I got a lot of silver, but we also got gold out of it.
You each would have had the equivalent to about 600 gold worth of stuff by the end of it. Alright. So you were saying you were needing a bunch of blacksmith's tools, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, and would those be for... Ah, yes. Well, I can... He hobbles over and, like, it's obvious that this gnome is, like, on that point where, from an out-of-character perspective, every morning he wakes up and the player would have to roll the dice to see whether he dies from old age.
Oh, so he's...
Old craftsman. But one of the finest in town. He's like, alright, well, I've got a few options for you. Now, I can let these go at 30 gold apiece. They're a bit better than the standard. The standard is, well, the standard. It'll get the job done. You can smith with it, you can smelt with it, and it'll work. But you're, I'm assuming, needing a lot of gold and copper.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Couple tons worth, actually.
Ooh, that's going to be expensive then. I might be able to put a small hole in that. But weight in gold is hard when a coin weighs an ounce.
Yeah.
Think about what you can get for a gold coin, lad. Now, I can get you your tools. These sit here. It's about 30 gold a pop, and they're a bit better, as I said. Now, for 50 gold, I can get you this set. Now, these will hold up to most smelting needs. If you're not planning on working in soft metals like copper and gold, they'll last about 10 months of solid daily work for 12 hours a day. So they'll hold up to whatever you very well may need. If you were using heavier metals, dealing in steel and things of that nature, you'd have to replace them after about 6 to 8 months. Now, for 60 gold, I could sell you these beautiful artisan smith tools. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to rip you off. But you see them there? I drop forged out of adamantite. That anvil and hammer, you could break diamonds on. And with. So the question is,
Not multiple sets of cheap ones or one good quality set.
you're going to need all 4 from what you've told me. Makes me think that you've probably got some smiths coming on line to work on your project. Am I right?
She didn't say. DM question.
Nope, she did not say. You have no clue out of character. The best that in character you could possibly say is that you would assume so, but you weren't given many details. You can elaborate, lie, bullshit, and do all of that to your heart's content, and you're certainly welcome to try and convince them to hire on. I believe you were also told you would need to find artisans. I set you guys up for a good bit of roleplay because we've been kind of combat heavy, and it's nice to be able to get into who your character is.
So, I was told, yes, I am looking for a handful of artisans to help build this project.
Oh wait, Anaya's correcting me. They say that's not true.
The artisan bar?
I don't know. They might be talking about the specified amount that the dragon gave us. I don't know.
Did the dragon give us money to buy this stuff, or we come up with our own?
They said the amount that the dragon gave us was not specified.
And they said, wait, that's not true.
Okay, cool.
Because I asked her to look, because I couldn't remember.
What did they tell? Malkin, honey. She's been overly social for the last week or two.
So I'm gonna say I'm assuming so. I was sent with orders to acquire things, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming so. And if you have any recommendations of some quality,
6
to 10 smiths. I thought I had sent you to acquire artisans, so you need to go find 6 to 10 viably good, reasonable blacksmiths at least. So more than trying to get their equipment, you're trying to get the person.
that's what I'm. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna assume I have the gold to. I have more gold than I need to buy quality stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy.
No.
I'm gonna buy 2 of the sets. Okay, first off, on observation, the size of the tools, are they like built for his hand, or like generally sized for like
We're talking like
if I
size.
pick one up, can I hold it?
Oh yeah, easily.
Okay.
Like they're sized for one size fits most.
Okay, so not for the smaller races, more for the medium size. Okay.
He made his own tools.
So I'm gonna ask for. Then I was told I needed to find 6 to 10 smiths to help with this job I've been sent to acquire all these tools for.
All right. So
I'll take 2 of the high quality artisan sets.
Okay, so knock 120 gold off,
And 4 of the regulars.
and then His regulars run 30
Not the
gold.
regulars, the ones that
His bottom line that he showed you is his regular at 30 gold a piece. He charges 10 gold extra because he's just that good. This little gnome be pimping it.
But I'm talking like his low end stuff is what the quality, the minimum quality I'm looking for, right?
Oh, several decent blacksmiths, 4 of high experience will do. So, 4 that are him or better.
Okay. So, well, then I'm gonna buy 2 really good Excel quality sets because I'm pretty sure you can do some precision, detailed work to use what we're planning.
Definitely. Good
I'm
call.
gonna get 4 sets of regular ones. So it's like 420 gold, 320 gold.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you are still allowed to barter, haggle, and all of those things. I'm just putting this out there out of character as a DM. You are allowed to haggle with my NPCs.
I know. I'm trying to do the math of when I got one.
All right, so you're trying to get 4 of the regular sets and 2 of the nice sets.
So
120
yeah.
and
So this is what I'm.
120, so 240.
240 for the total.
So I'm gonna go. Well, how much? What we cut me a deal if I buy 4 sets of this, 2 sets of those, and if you could chuck in recommendations to find quality smiths, if not yourself, to come help with this project, it'll pay very well.
Well, you can certainly buy my tools. And I mean, I could have my daughter mind the shop, and she's not me. I don't know if you can afford me.
But my benefactor probably can.
Well, considering what they've sent you shopping with them, assuming they gave you a good chunk of the money for this,
I guess.
My cat has become overly social. Please excuse us. It's okay. She's coming out of heat, so she just wants love, not to be dirty.
That was completely
She's gotten over that part.
And do I need to roll his persuasion to see if he'll cut me a deal on
Well,
if I buy all those sets?
I could let me daughter run the place, but then we'd actually have average material or average quality stuff coming out. It cut into my profit margins a bit. What kind of compensation are we looking at for my time? By the day.
I can guarantee no less than platinum. Right, that's a decent amount.
A platinum a day, so 10 gold a day. Alright.
No less than, but I'm guaranteeing that would be the very bare minimum.
Well, that's well beyond my operating costs. But, and just hold on a second, the but's important. You said you needed a few competent blacksmiths and tinkers, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful.
If you have recommendations, I'd really appreciate it.
Well,
Someone who can keep up with your caliber of work.
well, I can start you off with one. She's still technically a journeyman by my standards, though the guilds have decided that she's graduated from that. So she's been working at my shop because she acknowledges that she's not her dad.
Okay.
I mean, the girl's a bit young. She's only about 350.
So such a baby.
By our standards, yes. I mean, dear gods, I'm down there 900. She was the last of my children, and she's the one carrying my legacy.
Someone's gonna do it. I mean, kids are important.
Alright, so I would recommend her. She's as good as I was at her age.
But she would follow your instruction if we were to give you the plan. She could follow what you built to your standards so that we
If
get a quality
you
product.
give me the plan, if you give her the plans, she might adjust them to make them better.
Well,
And if she can't make it better, she'll do what you say.
do you know where I can find her to speak to her in person? So, or
Oh, that's not a problem. You see, I paid for her education. As a result, she's indentured to my shop for another 15 years.
So basically paying for both of you.
No, you'll be paying for her. I'll be here running the shop.
So I'm getting her to replace you. Okay.
Yes. And I'm sure that she, through the guild, can probably help you with finding one or two of her caliber. Maybe a few lesser. I keep telling her not to associate with people who aren't at least her better. But it just doesn't seem to sink in. Kids these days.
I mean, for real.
At least learn from somebody if you're going to hang out with them.
Yes. So, I mean...
Guy's a little bit of a sociopath, just for the record.
So I have her, and she could probably find me another. Is there anybody else you would recommend?
Well, first of all...
If, at the very least, we put their shop out of business for a few... Wow.
Well, that'll cost people, and they won't be likely. On the other hand, first of all, beforehand, let you get a look at her. Because you've met me, but you've not met me wife, and that's going to confuse you.
That's the shit
So-
I've seen in my life.
Oh, Mildred, dear. And his voice, his accent, his pitch, and the amount of projection he uses changes. And you hear a very, very meek, very soft whispered. It sounds whispered, but very deep and baritone. Female baritone, but baritone. Yes, Father? And through the back door comes a woman, approximately 5'8", with dark green skin, gnomish facial features, very long, very orcish growth patterned hair that she keeps basically in a top knot because it at least looks decent. His daughter is half orc.
Okay. Her name is Mildred.
Yes, her name is Mildred. Because it rhymes with Mordred and, well, dark entities, but her mother, bless her barbarian soul, married me, much at her own insistence. Because I was the best thing that she'd ever seen when it came to fixing her swords.
That's fair.
So, I've never had to worry about problems with guards. Have you met my wife?
Not yet, sir. I never had to play.
Well, this is my daughter Mildred. She's not much in a fight. She's wonderful with a hammer, and nearly as good as her father.
Well, I don't need her to fight. To take care of all that.
Oh, that's good to know. I wouldn't want my little girl getting hurt. Look at me, calling her a little girl when she towers over me by 4 feet.
But from what you said, she's the baby in the family. She'll always be a little girl to you.
Yes, I have children from other marriages. This is my most recent. We've been married for 20 years.
I'm going to introduce myself to Mildred. My name is Torin. I have been speaking with your father, and he's recommended you for a job that I have.
She looks over and her eyes get big. And you see as, like, picture the typical never acknowledged nerdy outcast girl with her bangs and hair hanging over her face. As she says that, she brushes, and you get the cheruby gnome features with orcish green and tusks, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at you, and you're okay with that?
Yes. Your father recommended you. I've seen his work. I believe you have what it takes to keep up
Well,
with the job.
I'm flattered, but Papa will tell you I'm nowhere near him.
Well, neither one of us has been around his papa.
And you watch his tears start welling up in her eyes, and she's just like, it's like the flattery and the compliment with everything that she's had to deal with society being half gnome and half orc. So she's, for a half orc, short because they tend to be 6 foot or taller, and she's like 5'8" and a half orc, and she's a smith and a good one. But yeah, she's like, well, I'll be happy to have you. And who else?
Well, your father said that you might have a couple of friends. I need at least 4 people of your caliber or your father's caliber to help us out.
But All right, but that'll take us a bit. We'll have to go to the pub.
That's fine.
All right. So now turning back to you, so you don't get too ungodly bored, Ronin. As you and Mildred wander off towards her favorite pub, and think about how you're going to talk these other, because keep in mind, Mildred's friends would much be like Mildred, because, you know, like attracts when it comes to social circles and safety. I mean, we're all nerds here. All of us. Even you, Tiago. You know, just let it out. So, we get back to you, Ronan, and our jewel-toothed gentleman. So, sir, you'd be looking for someone?
I am looking for...
You don't have a name, you have a description.
That's what I meant.
Well, the person who can help you with this is not the DM, not because I can't, but because not my job. The one person who's allowed to help you with that is sitting here is right there.
With what were description?
With a description of what he's looking for, shopping, since he doesn't have his notes.
Oh, he's on a path to find the beholder. So he's not shopping for anything. He's looking for a person.
Basically, yeah.
Which
That's right, the beholder. That's the word I was looking for. My brain is not braining right now.
That's partially my fault. That's why I'm allowing other people's notes to be used. It's kind of metagaming. It really is. Because what you write down is what your character remembers.
So
Your notes work for you.
I tell him I'm looking for someone by the name the Beholder.
Are you looking for a person who goes by the Beholder? Or are you looking for a beholder?
A Beholder, the Beholder, whatever you want to
Well,
call it.
First I'll take you to the Beholder. If that's the right person, then our business is done and that'll be 10 silvers. If you're asking me to take you to a Beholder because that's the wrong person, it'll be about 50 gold. Risky business dealing with that one.
Take me to the first one, and then if that doesn't work out, take me to the second.
Well, that'll be a fine 10 silvers, please, then, sir. And he holds out the hand that has that ring flipped around on it so you can just see the diamond as he's fleecing you for 10 silvers that he obviously doesn't need.
I'll give you 7 right now and 3 more.
10 or I lead you the wrong way.
7 or I take that ring from you and just go away.
The gods couldn't take it from me. Go for it.
He underestimates the power of my roguishness.
Perhaps. You can certainly try.
Do I want to sleight of hand this?
Keep in mind that you are talking about a gentleman who has managed to earn himself a set of teeth that are platinum with jewel inlays.
Yeah, that means he probably doesn't fight that well. Because he got his teeth knocked out.
Once? How long ago? That looks pretty healed to you. And do you know how hard it is to keep your teeth once they look like that? Like, I'll give you the insight and perception as an obvious because of where your perception should be right now as a rogue passively at least at 13. It goes off your wisdom modifier plus... Yeah, you actually have a perception proficiency.
So it's the wisdom modifier plus proficiency?
If you're proficient in perception, yes.
I am proficient in perception.
Yeah, that's actually harder to
So
say than one would think.
It's 10 plus my wisdom modifier plus my proficiency.
Even plus, yes.
So yeah, I'm at a 15 for my pass.
Oh yeah, so you would totally realize that this guy, you might have rolled a few pockets in your life, but people have probably tried to stomp this dude's face in for his teeth 4 times a day for however long he's had them. And he still has them. Let's just math here for somebody on an insight of that level, you know?
it's a lot.
Like, in a month, he's probably had to deal with 120 dumbasses. possibly in groups, because each of those teeth is worth at least 100 gold. 32 to 48 teeth to a mouth, depending on who the person is and what their species might be. This guy's human, so
Like 36.
36 teeth to a mouth at 10 gold apiece. That's 360 gold. Do you know how long you can eat off of 360 gold, Ronin? This is going through your head. And then you realize the 500 gold ring he keeps on his palm to taunt people. Basically so they know not to tip him. So, do you want to try and sleight of hand it?
Honestly,
I'm giving you everything that your perception would know, not everything above your perception. To be honest, as a DM.
yeah. I'm just trying to think, could I pull off a sleight of hand good enough?
Well,
How's that
remember, in my world, no matter what, a natural 1 is a critical fail. A natural 20 is a success. Now, here's the catch. You cannot make the decision before you roll the die. So how much are you banking on that? How much is he bluffing? And how good are you? Let's just weigh this like a real world con.
Well, if I'm as good as I think I am, I should be okay.
But do you think you're as good, or do you think you're better than him, or do you think he's been around long enough to catch your shit? There's a whole bunch of things to weigh on this.
I've also been around a while. That curse has had me reincarnated like 5
But
times.
every time you at least forget 85% of what happened.
But then that builds up every time I die. That 15% builds up more and more.
But the 85% has a 2% chance of adding something new, because 85% of what you did may have been repeated. She is rolling around in catnip over here.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any better.
Oh, it's okay. She gets dad belly rubs here in a second.
Screw it, I'm gonna risk it all. If I have to fight this dude, I will fight this dude.
Alright, go ahead and roll. You're trying to sleight of hand that out of his hand before he can catch you.
Don't be an impish rogue.
Ooh, that was a fail. 9 total.
9 total? Well, I rolled a 16. So as you go to snatch it before he gets a chance, his other hand darts up from beneath his cloak, grabs your wrist, and he closes his hand, rolls so that the diamond is right where you can see it, and goes, ah.
You got me on that one. I'll admit that.
So,
I hand him 15 silver just for playing the game with me.
at least you're an honorable loser. Let's go then. And he starts leading you down through the dark passageways. After about 15 or 20 minutes, you come to a sewer grate. Well, I'm going to need your help with this part. It's a bit heavy, and I'm quick, but I'm not strong. Turns out that a dagger up into the jugular works real quick, and you don't need to be that strong to get the job done, so I don't get robbed much. That being the case, I need your help prying open this manhole. He actually pulls out his own crowbar, hooks it underneath the lever, and so if you'd be so kind.
I have a question out of character. Do I still have my retractable wrist dagger?
Yes. Why? Because you tinkered that, so you made a new one.
Yeah, I every time I die, I just make a new one because I built it myself. When I first,
That is one of the
first
things you
life.
are guaranteed to remember every time, is that you actually made an Assassin's... No, motherfucker actually made all the rolls over the course of about 5 sessions to actually tinker together the Assassin's Creed status wrist dagger.
Nice.
Again, hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, I did. So I
Like-
just rebuild it every time I die. I just rebuild it.
Okay.
And it's still a 1d4 dagger, it's just that it's concealed and thus much easier to make his sneak attack with if he pops it at the right time.
Which is a 4d6. So it'd be 1d4 plus 4d6 if I were to do it right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
she's high. I'm sorry, bitch.
I got my crowbar out of my thieves' tools.
All right. So between the two of you, just to make sure that you don't like sprain or pull a ligament in your shoulder,
I'm also
please roll.
proficient in all my thieves' tools.
Yes, but using a pry bar is a strength check, so I need you to just not roll a 1. Just don't crit
But
fail.
since I'm proficient in it, wouldn't it be my strength check plus my proficiency bonus? Since I'm proficient
Not
in
for
all...
this because you're not proficient in strength. The catch is that you know just where to put it, so I don't disadvantage you for prying this open. Not to mention, dude's showing you. You're helping him. Just don't crit fail, and the two of you can get it open.
19.
Oh yeah, it pops with no problem. The fact is that neither of you is a strength-based character, so it does take at least a roll, and I can't allow for them to just don't fail. Please just don't critical fail. So, as you open it up, where you would have expected the smell of, well,
Sewer.
something else greets you. Honey, incense, milk. Caution, NC-17 scene about to commence. Please, dear gods, cover your children. You find yourself looking down into some place that looks like a warm fire glow beneath this particular manhole. The smells of exotic foods, very exotic foods. Honey, milk, incense, drugs, just kind of waft up in a strange bluish smoke from this manhole. The person you're looking for is down there.
Wait here, I'll be right back, and I hand 2 more silver.
He's like, no. I'll be going with you. But customers first. Make sure you want to be getting into what you're getting into.
How far down is the drop?
About 60 feet straight down on the ladder.
So it couldn't just...
There's actually a ladder down. No, you would hurt yourself if you jumped. But there is definitely a ladder.
I just go for it. Why not? Already come this far.
Climbing down, sliding down it, jumping and saying fuck it.
Superman.
Probably just gonna grab on each side and kind of slide down.
Okay, go ahead and make an acrobatics for me to make sure you don't cut. 10.
Yeah, proficient in acrobatics.
Good, that means the probability of you rolling below a 10 is even lower.
18 plus 7 is 25.
Alright. So, at a 25, y'all ready for this? I'll give him the description, then we'll be back to you, Torin. Because I have to keep bouncing it since we split the party. Alright,
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. I'm actually used to it with this group. I'm probably the only DM on the planet that is cool with you splitting the party 4 ways because of you guys. You have done it to me. You weren't here for that, but no, they split the party fucking 5 ways up.
I wandered the fuck off before.
Oh yeah, all of you have. I'm used to it. I roll with that shit. Okay, so the way that this looks is he mentions they're down there. You reach down, grab where because the way these manholes are covered, the actual it curls up and down, goes through where the manhole cover would be, and then you have your ladder rungs starting below it. You grab hold of the top of the loop, smile as if to say, see you at the bottom. Go to reach with your other hand. Decide that this is actually a porous enough metal, because it's wrought iron. So it's drop cast like a cast iron Dutch oven is.
Mm-hmm.
You say, this is, your gloves will provide enough friction. You actually one-hand yourself down it, and every time you need to slow, just push out against the outer wall and drop yourself. When you reach bottom at this speed, you're going at the maximum speed you could safely do so without hurting yourself. So you land with a cat's grace. Smile, and I don't know if the character themselves would do it because I'm not you. See them, you motioning up and going like, come on, it's this. I need to know where I'm going. Exactly. You get the right to be a dick a little bit to the guy who's
Well?
guiding you.
We're waiting.
Right then, sir. Right behind you. And he actually climbs down, like, catching everyone. And you notice that more than just his teeth and that ring are made of metal parts. You hear the clinking as one of his feet catches each rung of the ladder on the way down. And that brings us back to you, Torin. As Ronin delves deeper into the darkness. And yes, thank you, Anaya. We appreciate you for all of your helping me not fuck up my lore dump. So, Torin, as you are led out and down the street with Mildred, she goes, she looks over at you. So, my friends are a bit odd. I mean...
You haven't met mine.
She just stops for a second, realizing that you're being, like, social with her, not flinching at the fact that she's short for a half-orc because she's half goblin. Or half gnome as well. She's like gnome, orc mixed, so tall.
About my height. She's about my height.
Yeah, versus the 6 foot plus that a half orc normally is.
Tall for a gnome, short for an orc.
Pretty much.
Universally tall for a human woman, but very short for a half orc. She's like, "What? You're right, I haven't." And she smiles and almost seems to like take a shine to you for a second, like she's never had positive anything from the opposite gender at all. Like her dad's that crazy gnome blacksmith and that married an orc.
Yeah.
You guys can see how this went sideways for her life.
Yeah.
It's not that her parents love her. She's just had a very tragic existence because of who her parents are. And she's like, well, okay, but, are you sure? And what are your friends? She kind of smiles. So, while we're walking, and it's going to be a few minutes till we get there, what are your friends like?
One, I'm lucky he's sober most days. The other one, haven't quite figured him out yet. He's a little cat person who,
He's tabaxi.
He's a tabaxi. Haven't quite figured him out yet. And then there's the crazy bird.
She laughs a little bit at the words crazy bird. Crazy bird? Like, what kind of bird? And,
I mean, if you piss her off, she might, put your head through a wall, or just start randomly talking to herself and wander off. I mean, it's a crapshoot. Like, she came here with me today, but I have no clue where she's at.
Oh, wait, what? About this time, you see her wandering through the crowd in the markets, and she seems to be like buying from more reputable, like armor building blacksmiths and things like that. By the way, P.S. Kelora, charge yourself for masterwork. I know you're watching.
That's her right there.
Oh,
Did she get her beak fixed by any chance?
that actually recovered itself and
Okay.
created restoration at the campsite. No, that's what I'm here for. No, I made sure not to permanently damage anybody if you all managed to get her out of there before it perma-zapped her.
I mean, there was that.
Is she-
But yeah, no, that's her right there, and I pointed, just walking around.
The cinch-looking one.
There was an incident a couple days ago. It's fine. We didn't die.
Well, why is her beak metal?
That honestly, I don't remember if she told me the story on that or not. I met her only a few months ago.
Oh, so yeah, you weren't.
I wasn't there when it happened.
Yeah, out of character. No, you weren't around for that. The person who could answer what happened to Kelora's beak would be Ronin.
And he's not.
And I'm not there.
Yep,
So
that's the problem with.
That's
splitting the
why I
party.
didn't say anything.
I appreciate you.
we could ask my buddy when we meet back up with him, because you're gonna meet them all. If you accept this
I
job.
don't play- I don't
Oh,
character.
didn't Father tell you I'm indentured to him at this point? He's very hopeful that after my indenturement, because he, unlike most people, pays me.
Mm-hmm.
And she jingles her purse quite proudly, and you can hear, because you all have been around in the world long enough, you can hear the distinct sound that this woman has gold in her purse. as an apprentice, as somebody who's indentured to a blacksmith,
She-
he is at least paying her well enough that she doesn't need you to cover her tab at the tavern.
Okay.
Like, Father insisted that I be paid when I do well. I mean, when I produce mediocre work, he just throws it in the anybody's bin and... Oh, didn't they tell you we have a donation bin for anything that's mundane?
No, he didn't mention that. But I was looking at more of the items I was sent to get, which I did pick those up by the way.
Yes, you did. You were down
I got the money part, but I got 2 artists and then
and 4 sets that are
4 mid-grade.
we would call them journeyman level just to make it so I can gauge it.
Journeyman level.
Journeyman level, call it, and then put a Roman numeral 3 behind it. I'll give you a journeyman up to 10. The tools she is carrying that are her own, you notice as she's like
Right, 'cause-
quite the ones that she has strapped to her satchel as her personal, like, these are my chisels, these are my hammers, and things of that nature that a blacksmith would carry. Hers
like her dad's quality.
are like her dad gave it his all, and you're not sure what they're made of. They don't even look like the really nice adamantite ones that are in his. Like, obviously there's a part of this father that, regardless of all of her handicaps socially,
He spoils her because she's good at what
he
she says.
loves his daughter. Like, fuck spoil. No, this is like that, honey, you could go kill somebody and I'll help you hide the bodies
Yeah, but
type
she's
of
also
love.
taken after daddy and does what daddy does, so like she's a little spoiled differently.
Daddy's little girl.
She's spoiled differently.
Well, daddy's big girl, but yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to... I'm just gonna wink at her and keep on going to the bar.
Alright. She's like, well, do you know where you're going? As she follows
her.
up.
Like, I'm following her, but she's like, I'm just gonna keep heading. Like, she said that, and I just winked at her and didn't say nothing, and I'm just gonna keep going to the bar.
Papa. Alright. So, after about 5 minutes of kind of walking in silence, because this woman is. The second that you stop interacting with her, she just kind of takes it as a cue to. And she starts looking back down
Do
to
we
her
get-
feet
do we
and
get-
fiddling with her tools, and you get to the.
So before we enter there, I'm gonna stop before we enter, because I'm assuming where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Right about where the hitching posts and the trough for horses would be if somebody happened
I'm
to
gonna, like, reach out and, like, just gently, like, grab her form and ask her, like, to stop her. Like, before we go in here, this is what I was told were my requirements. Minimum quality work. Now, you know these people better than I do. I'm trusting your father's judgment and your judgment. This is, like, I need people of your caliber and can produce the quality of work that you can. So, like, I don't know your friends, but this is what I was sent to get. So, I don't know how many friends you have, how many people we're meeting, but that's what I need you to point out the ones that best work under your direction.
Her jaw drops, and you can see her little tusks finally, because being gnomish and orc,
Yeah.
they'd be uber tiny. Her jaw drops, mouth agape, and she's I'm in charge?
For all intents and purposes, I was gonna have your father do it, but he recommended you. So technically,
You would swear that this half-orc woman, who is an actual relatively vibrant green, okay? For what you all would recognize, turns an almost pale sea foam from the sheer idea of being in charge. And she looks, okay, so
I'll be there.
that rules out that one and that one. Do they really have to be at my caliber, or can they be slightly less?
If they're teachable and you think that they can do what you say and produce once I give you the plans, if they can produce,
What are we building? That matters.
I will tell you I'm not 100% onto is the exact outcome of what we're building, but we will be dealing mostly with gold and copper, metals.
Highly conductive, okay. For all things, electricity, magic, heat,
Portals.
portals?
I don't know. He said he conducts electricity.
Conducts everything, really.
But if they can follow your instruction and can produce the pieces that you can use to build the tire, like you can build the pieces that you can use without having them to remake them, or you make them yourself, because you're going to have to instruct the others to build certain things so you can focus on the overall picture while they make parts for you to finish, finalize, and place together.
Well, that would have been helpful before we got here, so I could look over the plans. Do you have them with you? She actually like perks up at the idea of building something and looks at, do you have the plans? Type of mentality instantaneously. Like there's a change from shy to focusing on the idea and where are the plans. I can focus on this and I can seem competent. I don't have to be social. I just have to fucking think.
So I didn't write down. I know I took all the paperwork on the dragon we were taking, which I brought it all as reference for what we were gonna do. That's how I snuck it out.
Hey, you did actually make the rolls on that now that I think about it.
Yeah,
Fucker.
so I snuck all that stuff out.
Fucker.
But
I hate it when people get one over on me and I have to go by the dice. I really do. But it's fun that way.
Just to say as a character, all we need is 3 more at her caliber.
yeah,
The other 7, the other 6 could be less caliber.
well, I think we just need 4 or 5.
Well, it says we need 6 to 10, but we need at least 4 that are of decent caliber. So we need 6 to 10
but I'm
total.
like, basically, the way I'm looking at it is like department heads. Like this is.
He's trying to hire upper and mid management at this point.
Smaller pieces and components can be punched out by anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm
We
trying to
need
find
4
people-
decent blacksmiths to start out with.
That's
We already
what
got
that's
one.
what I'm looking for right now.
So
I found
we only
my
need-
team lead.
Yeah, we only
Now I
need
need
3 more.
her minion, her lieutenants.
And you guys are welcome to talk over the table about stuff like that. Thank you for saying it's out of character. I really appreciate that because that's stuff that I'm okay with you guys conversing about.
Speaking of,
Because you're not telling somebody how to play their character.
Right. I'm just.
speaking of DM question,
Yes.
when she gave us all this stuff, did she give us like a basic something to work off to show people what I needed to build so I could get the proper?
Interestingly enough, no. She gave you a basic description of what it would need to do, which is be able to withstand a large amount of cold, be able to transport you to where you needed to be, and be able to dampen the cold enough for you to be able to do what you need to do. So in specific, you need to have blacksmiths who are incredibly gifted at the idea of tempering metals so that they can survive both high heat and high cold from everything you have referenced and researched.
So to answer,
And from the books you stole. To include the one with the really pretty intertwined lung dragons on it that tells you all the real information on this thing's weaknesses. You just haven't researched or translated most of it yet. Yes, thank you.
So I'm gonna tell. I was not given the exact blueprints to what we're building, but I will give her the parameters of. It has to be able to withstand hot and cold, and it's going to be a transportation ring of some sort.
Alright, so we should head in. And as we go through, find us a room upstairs. And I'll be up with about 15 people in a few minutes. Are you the only person making decisions in your group?
On this, I'll say yes.
On this, yeah. Out of character, I would say yeah.
Okay, I just need to make sure because she looks at you. I just have to make sure because
They can't really wait.
some of the people that I'm going to bring would have very big problems if you weren't the absolute person in charge of this stage of things.
Yeah.
They're just very meticulous in pecking orders. Some of them are.
I mean, I do have a bad.
And she looks at you and goes, some of them are And that is all she says. She doesn't say any words. She just actually jerks her head hard and pushes the tip of her nose up in the air.
I mean, there is my benefactor, but other than that, when it comes to what I'm doing,
It might help. Who's the benefactor?
Will you ever catch the name of that?
No.
no, I'm not gonna name it. I'll just say someone who will pay a minimum of platinum a day for anybody's help. So I'm gonna say, is it he or she? She, dragon.
You could tell them a gold dragon. Gold dragons are known, canonically speaking, through all D&D worlds to be lawfully good. So
Okay.
saying a gold dragon is who I am doing this for is like everybody goes, oh, it's almost like a get out of jail free card.
Okay, well, so I was like, for you.
Unless they're evil, you have more work cut out for you with where you went. It's a big
That's
hole.
why I went, because I knew I could do it.
So I'm gonna be like, to be 100% honest, I got sent by a gold dragon. So
Oh, well, there's some of us who would be very happy just to work to meet one of those. Which one? It's not are we going to that tower? The weird one?
the last
Where
one-
that strange necromancer who liked bright pink lived. They may not be at the table, but they describe their necromancer as Necro Barbie. So
I'm gonna say it's that.
you did
location.
notice a large number of very pink tourmalines and things inlaid in everything. Necro Barbie, man.
I'm gonna say same location, new management.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's ran by Gold Dragon now. If that makes it better.
A lot. She was weird. I mean, she didn't want to kill anybody. She never actually killed anybody. She let other people do that for her so that she didn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go head inside and get the meeting room, I guess. I'm gonna go up to the bartender.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
So-
I don't need a room for the night, but I need a space where I can have a private meeting.
Alright, so you need one of our private meeting rooms. Right then. The gentleman behind the bar, and you're assuming, gentlemen, you really can't tell because Minotaur?
I'm gonna
No, like,
Yeah.
actual Minotaur, so you can't tell a gender. You're just like, yeah.
no, but I'm gonna pull out a couple gold pieces and like slide them across the.
Right, so you'll be wanting your privacy then. Very well, any drinks sent up? Those will be extra, but the privacy this will cover.
I'll pull out another gold piece down and say nothing too strong because I need him to stay sober.
So, few pitchers of ale.
Yeah.
Right then. Very good, sir. I'll have them sent up. And you notice as they start motioning, they start motioning and everything, and they say, so what you're going to want to do, and they look back, oh, I forgot to tell you. So you're going to want to go to the top of the stairs, and there will be several rooms, or doors, down the corridor. The farthest one on the right-hand side is a private meeting room. If you go into the first three, well, some of the ladies of the night who work here might be giving you a few bangs for your buck.
Alright,
And that will be
Literally.
extra.
Literally.
I'm going to.
And possibly
Is
something
Mildred
extra.
still by my side, or did she wander off yet?
She's, the second you hit the door, Mildred wandered off, looking through the patrons, and disappears into the crowd for a few minutes. And can I get a time check?
It was like 6:10.
Alright,
So before I'm gonna.
yeah, we'll finish up with what's going on here, so go ahead.
Can I see her?
For a split, I'll give you about 45 seconds before she starts to disappear to stop her if you want to talk to her about
Not
something.
to stop her. I can call her name.
Yes, sir?
I'm just like kind of talk to him. He'll tell you the room. And when she comes back, she's gathering our people for the meeting. Just point her to send her to the right to where I'm at. I'm gonna head
It's
to
like,
the
Mildred brought you in.
Yeah.
He slides you back one of the gold pieces. This will be enough to cover your privacy. She's a good girl.
Yeah.
I mean, bit odd.
No.
Odd duck.
Aren't we all?
Yes, and considering you're talking to a minotaur, the baritone voice
I'm
looking at you
dragon.
going, yes. It kind of gives you a little bit of a comfort because they seem to smile, but it's really hard to tell on a bull's face if somebody is smiling. Like, yes, we're very odd here. Well, I'm sure she'll know where to find you. She's used that room a few times. And you watch them yell out, Mildred, take whatever you're up to the private one. She just kind of looks over her shoulder and toddles off into the crowd again, and you lose sight of her relatively quickly, like rogue quickly.
No, I'm not worried about it. So I'm just gonna head up to the room.
It's actually a very nice room. It would be decked out in more what we would consider like Far Eastern, more India, Japanese style, where it's cushions on the floor, and because of the area you're in, instead of like the tonkatsu with the heated table, it's just a very long table with plenty of aeration and something cooling the underneath from the desert heat.
I'm gonna ask him to also send food. I'm like,
What do you have?
nothing too complicated. We'll just go with like
So like a charcuterie board.
get a sample platter. Yeah, like something like a sample, just like hors d'oeuvres ish in that.
So a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Very well, sir. I'll have that sent up. Do you want the expensive one or the cheap one?
I'll flip back to the gold piece he gave me back and says, whatever floats your boat.
Oh, this will sink the submarine.
But and then I'm gonna head up and I'm gonna kind of sit at the head of the table so I can get everybody's attention. Now I can look at me, and then I'll have Mildred sit on my right side when she comes up.
Alright. So with that, and because it's just kind of a good breaking point before we get back to Ronin and his shenanigans, we're going to take a quick bio break and let you die in peace. And I'm going to go have a cigarette and think things through, and we will be back in a few minutes. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out, and we look forward to even more of our antics being with you. And we are back from our insanity.
Hi.
All right. So, with where we left off, all things considered and all things good in the universe, and having left off with Torin in pursuit and taking the room and everything, we will turn back to Ronin. Now, Ronin, as you get to the bottom of the stairs, what you expected to be a rat's swimming pool full of God knows what kind of excrement and wastes floating past you. The water is clear in this particular section of the sewers. The smells are of incense, fine exotic foods, and sex, for lack of a better word. And if nobody knows what sex smells like at this age, we really need to talk. I'm asexual and I know what sex smells like at this age.
Sex and candy.
Exactly. That's kind of what you smell. Well, I can't reach you over there. Anyway, so the scene before you is, you know how there are like underground cisterns for sewage systems?
Mm-hmm.
This is approximately about a 200-yard across cistern with a 30-foot wide catwalk around the circumference, and it obviously holds a freshwater intake like a reservoir underneath the city because you're in a desert. Around the outer edges of this, you see all kinds of interesting things. There are very naked fairies selling honeyed biscuits on a skewer. The quotes are intentional. I mean, granted, they are floating over a vat of honey, but they honey themselves and then honey the biscuits.
Okay.
They want 40 gold apiece for a skewer. People are paying it. They're lined up, apparently. You see odd meats, exotic things. What looks like it might have been an elf trussed up like a duck in a back alley Chinese restaurant.
Ooh, that kind of place.
Different stall entirely from where the fairies are doing their thing.
I'm still they're serving people. Ish.
Well, they're serving elves. They just refuse to serve elves. They're anti-cannibalism. They're totally pro-eating sentient.
Same thing but different.
We've decided, canonically speaking, that a human eating an elf or an elf eating a human is not cannibalism. It's just the devouring of a sentient being,
Because
which
it's
has
the same race.
Yep.
No. Okay.
But this also means that a gnome can totally eat you.
No, I'm okay.
Now, if you breed, it's cannibalism because you're half and half. So, yeah, sucks to be you. Either way. That was a question we debated. It came out that way. You see toy makers, you think? There's one that makes marionettes. Well, they're selling marionettes. Each of them... Actually, I need you to roll a perception check for me. Difficulty's 20 because you haven't been in town that long.
Perception is a +1, so I need a 15. 23. 22.
You would recognize that the likenesses of some of these marionettes are very close to missing children's posters. It's obvious that these are puppets, but they look like they could almost be lifelike. And you'd swear, even though you see the puppeteer playing with them, that they might not need strings.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
And anything you can think of that would be considered illicit, wrong, lewd, taboo, etc. You seem to be able to find at some stall in this place. What do you do? Where are you going to find the information you need?
We go to the stall that looks like it's got the oldest items or the most information.
Alright, we'll still run off of your last perception check just to make life easier. It was high enough that it does. After a few minutes of searching and looking, you find a stall that is carrying some very dusty old books and items. They all seem to be crafted out of very bizarre materials. Like you would almost swear that one of these books, even though you are an average human size, about half of your torso width, like book, is bound in what you could only assume would be baby gold dragon scale. As if somebody skinned a dragon and used it, a wormling, and used it to bind this book. These are the types of things you see below this. Old, decrepit, nearly mummified looking hands. Eyes in jars, the liquids that were preserving them having turned a very deep amber color. They'd been there so long. A very odd smell of preserved death. So heavy formaldehyde. Floating through the air just specifically around this one particular stall. And behind it, a very young looking, almost pretty if not for the sharp teeth, little goblin girl looks up at you. Finding what you like, sir?
I am interested in that gold book. Can you tell me more about it and let me look at it a little bit?
I can tell you about it, but you can't be touching it. Bound in gold dragon scales it is. Littlest wormling skinned alive. Truly evil thing, that.
What's the contents of the book?
Oh, me and my pop never noticed. We bought it off of a lich. He was passing through the under. Nobody really noticed. Relatively good at that whole disguise thing. He gave us this and 40 platinum for a few bits and bobs that he liked. The book's worth, what he told us, is 200.
Platinum?
Yes. But we daren't open it. Anything a lich gives you might make your toes rot off.
I'm willing to take a risk, but I don't have 200 platinum, that's for sure.
Well, it's worth no less or no more. That's what my father says, and I can't break his words. Now, if you could trade in equal, and you watch as this little, almost cute mouth broadens ear to ear, filling with perfectly triangle, sharp, jagged, edged teeth. So, Anything else you see?
Do you have any information on where I can find the beholder or a beholder?
A beholder? Oh, well. She looks down. I'm not supposed to talk about those things.
I give her my last platinum piece and say, any information will greatly be appreciated.
She looks down at the platinum. And I'll roll just to make sure she doesn't critical fail. No. You're welcome to try and roll a persuasion against it. I did not nat 20. So you're good there. It's not a guaranteed success on my side.
Nope.
Unless you all nat 20. If you roll a nat 20 and I do, your nat 20 wins because player trumps DM.
Nope. I got a 7 total for persuasion. 5 plus 2.
She takes the coin. That's lovely. I suppose if I keep this. And you watch it roll through her fingers. Almost like a wave, just seeming to... You know those cartoons where you watch as they roll the coin across their knuckles and it seems almost like water?
Mm-hmm.
You watch her do it's a pretty coin, but it'll cost you far better than that to buy me. And those last words are emphasized with aggression and insult. As if you've really offended this little goblin girl, and she flicks you the platinum. My father'd have my hide for that pittance.
What about those books and all that other stuff you collected?
Yeah, we do have some old books.
What you got? As you say, I do have some old books. Her ears perk up. They seem to like actually turn a little bit forward. The tips, instead of being more irritatedly drawn downward and back like a cat's, seem to like flip forward as if all ears.
I just got these old or odd books. I really don't know what exactly they are, and I set all 5 of the books out.
Which books did you take?
The ones from the chest.
The ones, yeah, they were in the chest. All I got for a description was 5 old, odd books.
She wonders. Well,
That's the only
okay,
thing
I know
got
which
for-
5 books you're talking about.
The ones
Well-
that I got from the chest from the nobles.
She picks up one of them. Ledgers. Dirty dealings. Bad accounting. Nope, useless. Throws it, and it... Let's see if she actually hits what she was aiming at. You hear nope, useless, and this gold-bound book goes flying through the air and lands in the fire. Next! Flips through it. Well, slightly useful. That's 1 point to yours. You have a bunch of old things, don't you? Do you have any new old knowledge?
New old knowledge. Like...
You're asking me for where the beholder is. That would be new old knowledge. Obviously, old knowledge, he works in the black market. New old knowledge would be where he is located currently. Find me some new old knowledge and we'll trade.
Yeah.
This is old knowledge. History books, accounting records.
So you want something that's old knowledge but newly discovered old knowledge.
Something like that, yes. Not worth my time otherwise. Old knowledge means nothing to anybody.
Do you have anything like cataclysm on you?
I will let you think about whether you have anything like that and what you could possibly barter with. Not everything has to be physical. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. There are things you would still know in character that are old new knowledge, or new old knowledge.
Yeah.
We are going to go back to you because you've been waiting for a minute.
Yeah.
And as you sit in your gathering room, after a few minutes, Mildred returns. You've probably been sitting there about 10 to 15 minutes waiting for her to do her thing, giving her the space. And she comes back with a ironically human individual. All intents and purposes, everything you can tell, they're quite human.
Okay.
Very dirty, covered, like their face is smudged with soot.
Look like you just got off work, basically, the blacksmith.
Like they just got off work in a coal mine type smudged.
Ooh, okay.
Their hands are calloused, obviously heavily worked.
Mm.
They've obviously been doing a lot with their hands at your first notice. And they're, at the same time, walking behind Mildred, looking down. They're smaller stature, like physically, than you're used to seeing somebody who would be considered a smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like physical build, they're like me versus you.
Yeah.
But they also seem very like not comfortable meeting anyone, or
Shy.
more like
You're skittish.
that one. Yes, thank you. More skittish than shy. Shy is one thing, but no, this person's like, if you sneeze wrong, they might.
Run away.
Yeah, just out of sheer fact that they're worried you'll hit them.
They're like
Ooh.
a chihuahua. They get scared by a running leaf.
More like a chihuahua that's been kicked every day of its first 2 months.
So extremely scared of a running leaf.
Yes. Not that I would ever kick a chihuahua for the first 2 months of its life or ever, unless it tried to bite me and then it's a football.
Alright, so I'm gonna look at Mildred and ask her, who is this?
Oh,
Just-
well, this would be Anthrid. He's the best of them, I'm afraid. Excuse the demeanor. He doesn't do well with any kind of social thing. I've never seen a finer hammer. Watched him split a steel ingot with a wedge in 4 wax. 7 inches thick.
Impressive.
Says it was all about the angle. I'd like to believe him. I mean, I'm stronger. And when you really sit back to take a note of Mildred and you watch as her arms move and her sleeves move up and roll up from just natural, like, talking, gesturing, and things like that, this woman be cut like, you're a ranger and use a bow regularly. Your primary draw arm looks like both of hers at the forearm.
Okay.
So she's like, oh, at least where it matters for a smith.
She's thick in the right places.
With that badonkadonk because Wisp loves it.
Yeah.
But
Fight him.
say what?
I'll fight him. Okay.
You'll fight him. Okay, so you like that badonkadonk on a big green orc mama too.
I just need one of you. It's my hand. Not big old man hands.
Face it, everybody wonders about half orcs. I'm all down for big green orc mommy. Anybody else?
We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna look at Anthrid and introduce myself. I'm Torin. I have been commissioned to do some work for Gold Dragon. I have spoke to Mildred's father. He recommended her to be my lead smith. I'm just looking for people to be able to help her do what she does.
So I'm not responsible. I just have to follow what she says.
Pretty much you'll work directly for Mildred and myself, but mostly Mildred, yes.
Working for her. Okay, but you, what will you have me do different?
From what you currently are doing, I don't know what you're currently doing, but you will be mostly working with copper and gold materials, building and fabricating parts.
That's better. What
You
are
will
you?
not be working here in town. I'm going to need you to come with me
Where?
to where the gold dragon is.
Dragon? You watch as a wet spot forms in the middle of this young man's breeches. He did not hear gold. He only heard dragon. And you watch as a puddle starts around his right foot, telling you that he is short shriveled and to the right. And he is...
Gold dragon. So I'm just going to reiterate a gold dragon, not just any dragon. Gold dragon.
He kind of sighs in relief, but seems a little bit... It's...
She needs smiths because the parts that need to be fabricated are smaller than she is capable of making on her own. Oh, that's not cool.
No, they are right. You will not find the cauldron of everything in Kastara.
Oh, great. Okay.
That one's going to be a journey. Last time I checked, the creator of it is on the astral plane. You won't age while you're there.
Yay. So, are you interested?
Well, and he looks over at Mildred, and he looks at you. Then he looks at Mildred, and there's this longing expression you catch in his eyes.
What do you think for Mildred?
And then he looks at you. I'm really needed.
If Mildred says so, yes.
Oh.
I told her to pick people she would recommend and think she would be better for us to do this in a more efficient and timely manner.
Well, he starts blushing as you say all of this. All right then. If there's nobody else here, does that mean I was her first choice? And he seems hopeful, like weird, creepy stalker hopeful, but like maybe ? It could be good.
Yes, you are the first person Mildred has brought to meet me, so I'm going to say yes, you were her first choice. Just to your skill level.
You watch as a half-orc girl turns red and looks down, blushing, and starts beading sweat. And this little boy seems to almost vomit in his mouth from the sheer shock that this girl likes him. Yes, geek love. All the geek love.
So
Have I depicted geek love properly for everybody?
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright, so if you're interested, I'm going to motion him to a seat and tell him he can to sit down and take his fill of food.
Appreciate it. Mildred looks at, I'll be back in a few minutes. I have some things more people to get. I'm glad you like him. And she blushes even harder. Like, you didn't think green could turn red.
I was in a reminder, so we have a lot more things to do today, hopefully. So if you can bring more than one person.
I know, I'll bring more this time. It's just, I needed to gauge things to see if the people I'd bring would be the right kind.
Okay.
So I figured I'd bring the most
Talented. Eager.
No, not talented. Enthusiastic first.
Okay.
And when you really stop to think about it, you hear, like, in the back, you thought it was the back of your head, copper and gold, what on earth can I do with copper So many things. It conducts everything. What on earth could this... And a gold dragon? And this is like at low level, like way down here. Muttering under somebody's breath while they're munching on the food you've provided them. From the young man that's sitting next to you. She's like, don't worry. Might be the most enthusiastic. Fucker's a bloody genius.
Okay.
And if he's lucky, he'll fuck her. And she wanders off giggling and comes back. And that brings us to you, Ronin, deep down in the dregs.
Yay.
So, as you go looking to try and find where this particular beholder is, they look at you. We can get you where you want. Ready?
How much?
Oh, see, that's not up to us.
Who's it up to?
Them. Anyway, right this way. And they start leading you in a very odd but very deliberate pattern through, and you might want to write this down for future reference. The way that they take you is right. They start you at they basically have walked you around to the very beginning of where that black market ended at the ladder you descended. They take you 3 stalls forward and turn left. Then they take you 5 stalls that make no sense as to how they're there because of where you would have had to turn. And go left again. You end up a flight of stairs, make a right-hand turn at the top of the stairs, are led down a very long, winding corridor. Do I need to slow down? And beset before a very large, emblazoned door with the likeness of a beholder, with gems set in each of the eye stalks and the central eye, into a great gilded door approximately 15 feet high by 10 feet wide, doubled. So a double door at those dimensions. So you actually end up with like 5 feet by 5 feet and then 15 feet tall. So it's 2 5 by 15 doors that make a full mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this would be where you were looking to get.
Okay.
So I wish you the best of luck. And they turn and they walk away before you have a chance to even reach for the door handle and disappear. And we'll say you track them for about the first 50 feet into the crowd. And then it's like 2 people cross, and you know the thing you see in all those movies where all of a sudden, poof,
One of them disappears. The spy movies.
a person goes this way, a person goes this way, and as they hit this point and are blocking your vision, the person that you were following that led you here, bamf, your jewel-toothed friend is gone. You would assume back to his original resting place. And you stand before this gilded door.
So, is there a handle or anything I could open it with?
2 relatively easy, like, you know, the trigger type door handles that we see regularly. There's 2 of those, 1 on each door in and of itself.
I'd just try to open it, see what happens.
Not locked, opens with ease. And as you open the doors, you see a room, vast room, easily 3 football fields.
Damn.
European football, not American. So even more of a damn. Turns out a soccer field is bigger than a American football field.
Oh, football. Not
Yes,
football.
3 football fields.
Football. Okay.
Yeah. Football as it is in every place other than America.
The real football.
Yeah, you ever seen somebody get bicycle kicked in the face? That's real football. Like, legit. So
So he walks in, he's a very large room.
there are piles of gold, silver, platinum, coins, goblets, little weird collection trays with holes around the outsides, communion trays, anything you can think of that could be gilded gold. There are odd creatures from God knows where, because you're not even sure that even exists on Nox. In vials and jars preserved, some of them in bubbling jars, and they seem to be alive, but you're not 100% sure that was even alive in the first place. Just a wondrous collection of a menagerie of what the fuck. Like, you name it, there's some representation of its culture here. Thank you, Iroquois. Now, so as this goes on, what you see before you is somewhere between a horror show, a treasure trove, and an artist's collection of oddities, if you can imagine that.
So, is there any people in there?
Or creatures.
Creatures.
As you look around the room, go ahead and roll perception for me, and I'll see what you come up with that looks like a creature. And we'll see what looks like it might be one of the more acceptable races.
11.
Okay. Perfect. So at an 11, at a long glance, the one thing that catches your eye is really kind of twisted. Is you see what looks like a human. From about here, at a weird line, all the way down. Parts of the rest of the dividing line starts by fading into rock and then growing outward into corals and fan corals inside of this test tube and moving side to side. And by the end of the arms, it seems like it forms crustacean-like claw. The elbows seem to be hinged with scallop shells, almost as if the entire other side of it, had been fused with every type of sea life possible in some sort of twisted wizard's experiment. And then petrified. At least the side that was mutilated.
That sounds like the wizard I know. That sounds like something they would do. So, that kind of is shocking to see. Kind of just like taken back by it, like.
As you kind of stand there taken aback, a sphere of flesh moves. You hear the jingling of coins as they fall away from it. The eye stalks extending. Long, dagger-like, toothy maw opening as a amber and grotesquely jaundiced yellow eye, bloodshot from God knows how many inebriants, looks at you. Oh, a visitor. Delightful. And what do you have to offer me?
What are you wanting? Information?
Well, for starters, why are you here?
I'm looking for the beholder. Or a beholder.
This creature's eye stalks move down and it scans itself. And then they look at you, and one comes out and gets about a 1/4 inch from your nose and extends, and its grin smiles. Well, apparently you found one, haven't you?
I'm here to hire your services.
And which services? The ones where I turn people to stone? The ones where I bore holes through their chest? The ones where I acquire things? Don't ask how. Or the ones where I make? Or make others make things? Which services dost thou require?
Your collector services.
And what would you be trying to collect?
I don't know for sure. I just know that my benefactor will pay handsomely for your services. You will be working for a gold dragon. And I was just given a
You
list.
watch them spit on the ground as you say gold dragon.
You don't have to like him. You just gotta take his money. Or their money.
But you could also tell them that
He?
what we're up to is going to be. We're building something interesting.
Yeah. We're working on... The benefactor has us working on a project of building something very interesting. We need 10 tons of copper, 2 tons of gold, other rarities, and your services.
So you need help robbing a mint.
I don't know what we need your services for. I was just told to procure.
Would he know? Not the metagame. But would he know like that's the best way to get that amount? Because he's a rogue. That's the best way to get the amount of copper and gold we need.
The answer to that question is roll insight check, please.
Because since you brought it up out of character, in order to make sure as to whether or not I can answer that honestly, I'm going to let the player roll because I'm not going to answer.
He's a rogue, so I figured he would know. Like,
He would notice some. There's a chance.
12. 10 plus 2.
10 plus 2.
Alright, so
When you really stop to think about it, this thing's spitting out, so you're planning to rob a mint. Well, you can totally see
paying miners an exorbitantly larger amount than what the gold coin or the copper coins are worth themselves in order to acquire the amount of money that you need
materials
or material you need. There's a definite part of you that, as a rogue, can see how that conclusion was drawn. As to whether or not you personally are planning on robbing a mint in order to get this job done.
Personally, no, but I understand the question and why it was asked.
The question is, how else are you planning on getting it? So while I must say that this is intriguing, do tell me how you're going to plan to acquire this. I mean, I could give you blueprints to a mint. I can't say how accurate they are after 20 years, but I have them. We could possibly find you some dead dragon's hoard, but that is a lot of gold and copper, my dear boy.
Well, that is true. Like I said, if you're willing to at least listen, maybe you can come back with us to the tower close by and listen to my benefactor and hear him out.
or meet up with the rest of the party.
And you'll meet up with the rest of the people. We're hiring a few other people, some blacksmiths to do some work for us, to actually build the device that we need.
You watch as a long, forked, pointed tongue licks across each individual tip as they think about your proposition, as it were. I see this going oddly. Are we certain I'll be safe?
100%.
Will you swear it on your undeath?
If anything happens, I will put down my life to protect you.
I
because
don't
that
want
is
your
my
life, I want your undeath.
Whatever the hell that means, sure.
It's not that you can't be killed, just reincarnate.
No, that means that it brings them back to life as a perpetual slave as a penalty for failing them.
Oh shit.
So every time I die and come back, I'd be their slave.
Versus resurrecting, you would be reincarnated as a fucking zombie under their control.
Pretty much.
And we need to roll a new ronin at that point. So don't do it.
So you're saying, don't do that. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I can't give you my undeath. No. I'll put down my life, but I'm not going to give you my eternal life.
They look at you and they size you up. Well, a life is worth a bit. Let's see how much you value yours.
Honest question, out of character. How much does Ronin value his life on a scale of 1 to 20? Without metagaming it, knowing what I'm setting.
Oh, he's not looking to die. He's if his life's on the line, he's going to put everything he has into surviving.
Okay.
Like he's not going to lay down and just be like, oh, I give up. Nope, not
Perfect.
happening.
So, at a 4 on my roll, so that's what I'm gauging your persuasion off of, is something that is 100% roleplay related,
Mm-hmm.
and something that's character related that you as a player would know that I can put into a number value as a DM. So, at a 4 difficulty, they fail to their wisdom save to beat your persuasion.
Very well. So, when do I get to leave my nice, comfortable horde? And where are you sending me?
You will come with me. We will go meet up with some other party members back at the market above ground.
Oh,
And
no.
then we will go. Or I can come back and get you when we're ready.
Give me a location. I'll meet you there. The less the public sees me, the better the black market flows. I do control most of the drug trade and other interesting pleasures.
So, what would the name of the tower technically be?
Actually, you are at a random pub downtown, or in the market district, that is more of a guild artisans pub, specifying towards blacksmiths. That's where Mildred has taken you. As to where you aren't sure. You have an idea of what Torin was looking for, but you never actually communicated about who knew where was going what. That is between the two of you. If your communications break down, not on me.
Well, I'm in the blacksmith quarters, though.
You're in the blacksmith's quarters in a relatively seedy-ass apprentice's pub.
So, where would we just have the beholder meet us? Where would you
The
want
tower, they can teleport.
Tower.
Do I
So,
use
what's
it
the
directly?
name of the tower? Though I can give them a specific
Any,
name.
you wouldn't know an actual name, but you could definitely describe a location. Let's hear it.
So, is the tower outside of town? It's got a protected barrier around it, so you got to stick to the main road.
Mm-hmm.
Pink and black.
Pink and black tower, kind of like a Necro Barbie. I just like that term.
For lack of a real term, lack of a game world term, we'll go with it.
And it's I don't know exactly how far outside of town
4 days to get there.
It's about a 4-day trip. Quick.
And it's about 4 days north of
Northwest.
Kastara.
Wait. So you want me to go hang out with the dragon in that crazy witch Aspen's tower?
Don't worry, Aspen's not there. New management. The dragon's taken over, so Aspen's no longer in the picture.
You think that's better?
Yes. Trust me, I've dealt with Aspen more than anybody else in this room. I would know.
They look at you, look you up and down real quickly.
For some strange reason, I'm inclined to believe you.
So
Wait,
yes.
didn't I save you back before the cataclysm? Or somebody who looked like maybe. There was an imp flinging celebration involving.
I don't know for sure. I know I was just told by my family that I was named after an ancestor.
Maybe then. No matter. Are you sure that dragon won't eat me?
I am sure the dragon won't eat you because he is specifically looking for a beholder, and if I tell you that you were hired by me to do the job, you are safe.
Well, they requested them.
They requested a
Oh.
beholder specifically.
My dear, I can promise you that dragon is a girl. You've not seen what happened to the male adventurer who decided he was going to try and seduce her, stupid bard.
Either way, she requested the specific help of a beholder, and that is what I'm here for. So you are hired by them to do a job, and as long as you do that job, your life is safe.
And they were expecting.
Well, it's a gold one, not a red one. I can trust that much at least. Alright, I'll meet you there. Now, as to your friend, do you have anything that belongs to them or touched them or they bled on?
Do I?
Did they bleed on you? At any point, did you aid them while they were injured? Have you cleaned your armor since doing so? This is an honest question.
No, yeah, you covered my blood because of that fucking incident.
Your
Yeah.
armor would have some of it on it then.
Yeah, from when I came back from teleporting from the freaking hell world. And
Right then. So, here. Let me do something for you. As a show of good faith that this dragon will pay me what I'm worth, one way or another, I'll give you directions to your friend that you can't miss.
I appreciate
They, you watch as their tongue flicks out and they lick some of the blood off of your thing, mutter something, and their eye stalks move almost like fingers would for the visual components of a spell. The semantic components, excuse me. And they go, and a almost lighted, but in a weird, eerie pink and blue kind of way, path shows itself before your eyes, leading off into the distance and to what you can only assume would be Torin.
So I just have to follow the lighted path, pretty much?
Basically, yes.
Awesome. Well, I will see you at the tower. Might have some more people with me when we meet up. It depends on how my partner did getting the crew that he needed for his portion. And I will update him on what I have figured out, and we will be there momentarily.
Right. So, I'll see you soon. And, well, after about, you will be wandering for about the next 10 minutes towards following that trail that was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
As that goes on, we come back to you, Torin. Now, all but you watch as after about 10 minutes of you waiting and one or two other people filing in, seeming of a very similar ilk to what Mildred had brought prior, very shy, very shut-in, very timid, but competent from what you can tell.
Oh, the younger side?
All but one who looks like they could easily be your grandfather.
Like Dragonborn, older Dragonborn?
No, like elf and mature, ergo old enough to be your grandfather.
No, I'm okay.
So, roughly give or take 250 years old, but looks like they're about 40.
Okay.
And it's kind of stuck there for a hot 500 years.
Well, as people trickle in, I just tell them to sit down and grab some food.
They nod in agreement and they start muttering about themselves. Mildred, why have you brought us here? All that. And then, strangely enough, after Mildred comes in, sits down where you had motioned for her to your basically right-hand side, so your right hand, as it were, in this, the last person you see walk through the doors is a very perplexed looking ronin, staring at the floor as if there is an arrow pointing him where he's supposed to go. Ronin, you have not been paying attention to anything other than anyone who might get in your way so you're not like slamming into people and things of that nature. And you find yourself in an inn.
I'm pretty much just following the HUD.
Pretty much.
Exactly. You're like following the HUD on auto track.
Right.
It's like you followed this particular. You're like, well, that was convenient, and you can honestly say that the Beholder is recruited. You come into a room. In this room, there is a relatively short half-orcish woman with gnomish features, an elven gentleman, bright gold skin and obviously a high elf, but very muscular and smith built versus mage adept, hence outcast. That's where your elf came from. He's more interested in swinging a hammer than casting spells, so he's not exactly the creme de la creme of high elves. And there are a pair of halflings sitting around the table quite gregaciously gorging themselves on everything that's provided before them. And you are suddenly glad that you paid so much for so many charcuterie boards and snack foods and loaves of extra bread. And every few minutes you, like, as you stand there taking in the whole scene, on 3 separate occasions, a different server comes in, drops off a fresh basket of loaves of bread, and you watch as a dwarf and the 2 halflings start grabbing loaves and shoveling it in like they haven't eaten since last Thursday.
I figured as much. Apprentices and whoever was in here, good meal makes people happy and a little more easier to talk to.
So, as you walk in, you see Torin sitting at the end of this table with this half-orc young woman. There are the 2 halfling twins to her left, a gnome to Torin's right, or excuse me, the elf to Torin's right, and a dragonborn. Very, very small dragonborn.
Half-breed.
No. Full-blooded dragonborn, just all of 5'2". Very compact female. With bright green scales. And a sour look on her face. Like everything tastes like poison.
No, we get her. Just shits and giggles.
Yeah, keep her for shits and giggles because everybody needs a bitter bitch.
Alright, so
as you all see it, the last person you see walk in, Torin, is Ronin, staring at the floor.
I'm gonna say Ronin, and I'm gonna motion for him to take a seat.
Looks like you've been busy.
Yeah.
Well, I
This
got
is
good news.
Yeah?
The Beholder's been recruited and it's going to wait for us at the tower.
Nice, good job.
Sorry, Malkin, I did not realize
I'm
your tail was on
gonna-
Dad's foot.
I'm gonna not necessarily stand. Am I sitting on the floor?
You would be sitting. Okay, because of the way this is set up, you would be sitting on a relatively large, nice, comfortable pile of cushions surrounding.
It's a cushion, so it's like more like I'm sitting in a cushion in front of a table like this versus a standard table with chairs.
Instead of a table this high, it's a table this low with cushions that stand up about this high off the ground, all the way around, enough space to seat approximately 15 people.
Right.
You know, 2 on each end plus in-betweens. 14 in-betweens, so 7 on each side. So relatively more than enough space for the party that you have in here. Alright, so, Mildred looks at the both. So, would this be your friend?
This is one of them, yes.
Well, they're kind of cute. Okay. You watch as that one little person just kind of turns all kinds of and glares at Vernon for a second. You know, that whole nerd rage, my girl thing. Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to tell, I'm just basically, since Ronin take a seat, we're done talking, I'm going to just, everybody continue eating. The food and drink is for you guys. I have been sent to acquire people with skills to help build something of importance. Once in a lifetime type of craftsmanship and not rarely seen type of item.
Well, Mildred told us that much. Well, are you the recruiter or are you the client or both?
I was sent on behalf of Gold Dragon that I have partnered with. And
You watch as everybody blanches, their jaws drop on top of a what?
the Gold Dragon that I am partnered with.
Oh, we did hear that right. You said gold
Mm-hmm.
dragon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a relief. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Nothing to. And what we're gonna build, what we need to build, is nothing nefarious or of malicious intent. Kind of just it's. We will be building, like Mildred probably told you, we are looking to procure and process and fabricate out of a lot of gold and copper. It must take high heat and still be able to deal with sub-freezing temperatures.
Well, some of us are good at the metallurgy. Some of us are good at the smelting. We should. Mildred kind of looks at you, watching everybody assess their skills and think and whisper among themselves.
So I have spoken with Mildred's father, who recommended her to be my, let's say, chief blacksmith on this project. And she has picked each and every one of you because every one of your skill sets that you possess will benefit and help in some facet with certain with stages in this project that you will all be required to either help on and or do your part to help build the finished product.
And you hear from one of the twins, the boy of the two, it's a boy and a girl. He seems a little snarky bastard, to be perfectly honest with you.
Like one of my little brothers said, okay, got this, I got you, bud.
And then he glances over at the first one that Mildred brought to you. What's he here for? To lick her twat?
Personal business is not mine, this is business.
Oh. We all know that Mildred's had a thing for him for years. He's blown up more labs than any of us. Whoa. What makes that safe? And you watch Mildred turn kind of red, and she pipes up, but he's a genius. I've watched him. Have you seen the medals he makes? It piques your interest, but it seems like she's actually defending her love interest to some degree to you more than she's defending his capability. Almost like she's blinded, but at the same time, like there might be some value to it. It's up to your judgment. By the way, Ronan, you are hearing all of this too, so you can totally see and hear.
So to be honest, I am just now meeting all of you. I don't know you guys' relationship or dynamics, but I know I trust her interactions with her father and his assessment of her skills, because I tried to hire him and he said he was busy. Recommended her.
Perpetually.
Recommended her. So I'm trusting in their judgment, it's in their ability to assess you guys' skill levels and what you know your personal lives are, I know nothing about. So, with that being said, I can guarantee this, that you will be paid no less than 1 platinum a day for your labors, depending on your skills as assessed by me and my benefactor.
All their jaws drop. They go, and almost in simultaneous union, you hear, "We could pay off our tuition in 3 weeks." All of it, we're on, and that's it. It's like you were talking project and parameters and capabilities. The second you said the word 1 platinum per day minimum, all of them were sitting here going, 210 gold is more than enough to cover my tuition for the time that I have left in school, plus what I've already served at roughly 150 gold tuition over a 10-year period.
Yeah.
So they're like, yes, sir, thank you, sir. We'll do what you say, sir.
Okay. Now, you finish up here. I'm going to hand Mildred one of my scrolls of teleportation. You guys are done eating and have acquired all of the tools and necessities for you to do your jobs. Mildred will tell you where all to meet, and when you get there, you just teleport the scroll, and it will get you to where you need to be to start working and get your assignments.
Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
What'd I get, Malkin? I got an 18.
Alright, so at an 18, you would realize, looking around this group and just taking a solid look, Mildred is the best equipped of all of them. Like, her tools and everything were obviously made by her father, and he took his time and put his patience and love into them. Like, you look at what these other guys are carrying, and
Well, I did pick up what I picked up as well, but
on a second thought, looking at what this little group is carrying for their own personal tools, there's a part of you deep down that almost wants to tell them to leave their shit, but doesn't want to tell them that their tools are inferior to what you're providing.
so then what else? So, in seeing this, and to ensure the best quality and the least amount of errors, I'm going to
Thank you.
I'm going to hand Mildred a bag, one of my little bags of gold, with some weight in it, like a good, nice one. Make sure your father supplies each one of these with the proper tools of the caliber which I requested to make sure that this job gets done
Well,
correctly.
you technically have those tools
I was
on
gonna
you.
say we already got.
I bought but see, I have more than 10 people. I only bought it for 6.
You actually have 7 people currently. Mildred
Nine.
has her own.
I was gonna say.
And I have 6, so I would need one more. So one of them would need a set of something.
Yeah. We'll go with, we'll call him Blinken because I haven't figured out a name yet.
Blinking.
Yeah, he's blinking because he's looking like he's trying to nod off.
So then I would just say, I would you make sure that you grab the tools that I ordered from your father before you leave, and anybody not having the tools to do their job, make sure your father has a set that they can use for whatever their skill set is. But more specific like that, and then tell her to head out. Make sure that we have. I want your father's caliber of tools for every employee under contract. And she already knows what I bought, so she would know.
She looks at a bag of gold. About how much would you say is in there on a rough estimate?
Judging by what her father charged me, I'm going to go around 50 gold to make sure that I cover whatever he needs.
Right. She tosses it. This'll work fine. Should I meet you back here in a little while? It'll take me about a half hour, or should I start making the trip on my own?
Well, you can send the others ahead if you so choose. If you want to wait for me, I do have some more. Actually, shit.
Why don't you just give her the scroll?
Well, I did give her the scroll, but like, if she wants to stick around and help me, because she'll know things and people know, I'll have her send everybody ahead, so I can use her to acquire a few of the other, or hopefully help me find the other items I need.
Right then. So, is your dragon friend expecting us?
Yes,
You're sure?
yes, she is expecting you guys, and she will. If you want, I mean, I would. Honestly, I would go because then she would be shown the blueprints to you to start your planning process while we acquire materials.
Okay. Is anybody gonna tell us that they can't get anything?
We will get everything that we need. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Do you have any idea what we're building?
I have an inclination, but like I said,
Can you tell me? I mean, I know it's a lot, but it helps.
I'm assuming, because I'm just going to use my personal sci-fi history, we're building something like a Stargate, right?
What you are actually building is an almost permanent portal to the plane of ice.
But it's like a Stargate.
If you can explain that in a way that's commoner's terms based on what you would understand at what's your intelligence score? Because, by the way, in order to completely understand the concept, you have to have an intelligence of at least 17. So dull it down until your intelligence score and explain that much to her.
I'm like 2 points short.
Same here.
So both of you are sitting here going, you've got a basic idea of what you're building. You could give a basic parameter behind it off the information I've given you, but you can't give all the fine details.
But I'm not that magically inclined, so I'm gonna say the best of my understanding what was told to me. It is going to be an intricate device to create portals to an ice plane.
Portals to an intermediate plane. I mean, you do know about the planes, right?
I have a good enough understanding.
Okay, she starts going off into this spiel, and what you catch out of about 20 minutes of her, like, just explaining the planes to you,
I'm going to touch her on the shoulder. Oh, gorgeous.
she blushes, turns red, meeps, and pees herself a little.
I understood most of what you said, but these kind of questions would be for the boss man, the benefactor. So the best way to get all of your questions answered would to be to speak to the dragon, because they will give you the plans, blueprints, and wait for materials, and you can start building what you can, but you will get all of your questions answered more to the specification of which you need by her.
She takes a deep breath, looks at you. Right then. On to it. Questions. Answers. I'm gorgeous. And she casts it and pulls everybody through it. Come on. If I'm gorgeous, we're set.
I want to smack her on the ass as she goes through. Just shits and equals.
You hear the well, I never, but not in the negative tone, like, well, I never have had anybody do that to me and I kind of liked it.
Now I'm just gonna wink and go about my business. And I'm gonna look once everybody's through Ronin. So we have the beholder waiting, right?
Yep.
I have all the blacksmith's tools and everything else required. So now we just have to find 3 more items. One of which I have no clue where to start looking for, and how do we find this large amount of copper and gold? Because I don't think we can just randomly go buy tons of it.
You had a hint to that somewhere.
Yeah, the beholder mentioned something about him, the way he collects things, don't ask, don't tell type thing.
Well, I mean,
So we might have to rob a mint.
we or he will take care of it for us.
We.
Well, it would be him as the lead for that mission, but we would have to assist.
More like he could give you some intel, but you'd have to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah. We'd have to do all the work. He'd pretty much be the brains.
So
We'd be the muscle.
I guess we're gonna need to meet with him, but we need to find Kelora so that we can then get her updated and figure out how we're going to do this because a couple things that I don't.
Well, I say while Chlora does their thing, we just go back to the bar and hang out, get some food, get some drinks. You can send Mildred.
Mildred.
I knew it had a D in there.
Look, I'm a big Worst Witch fan out of character. So, like, Mildred Hubble is one of my favorite characters of all time, so I named this poor, dejected little half-orc, half-gnome Mildred.
So you can send Mildred on so she can get the blacksmith started.
Yeah, she's already left for all that.
And we could wait until Chlora comes to the bar for food. Because she'll have to come in for food eventually.
Yeah, we gotta find a way to communicate to her. She took off on her own, like wasn't even pay attention when we got here. So
That's what I'm saying. We'll just have to wait until she walks in the bar, and hopefully she'll be in there within a couple hours.
You do actually know that there is a viable haunt for where Kelora would have met. You all basically set up a meeting place in town.
but first I have to do something.
Uh-oh. I don't remember what you're plotting, so let's hear it.
I need to go back to the Temple of Tiamat.
Okay. So, are you telling Ronin this?
I have to run a quick personal errand. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, just a personal errand. Because I've been busy doing this all day. There's a couple things I want to get taken care of before.
Okay,
Night.
not to be rude, but the last time you did a personal errand in this town, we ended up in blood packs to a demigod.
No, a full-blown god, to be
A
fair.
full-blown god? Not even a
Tiamat
demigod?
is a full-blown god and one
Okay.
of the leaders of the is actually the mistress of the third layer of the
got
nine hells.
involved with the chaotic evil god.
Lawful
Cannot-
evil, but you would think chaotic evil in character, so we'll go with that.
Because so far everything they've made us do has been a little chaotic evil.
It's been quite in line with the laws, but we'll go with that.
Yeah, but I
Perception is reality, whether or not it is accurate.
Either way, with
Well, I need okay. What kind of persuasion check would I have to hit?
so
I'm not answering that question.
so I just
What are you
know
trying to
that
do?
I'm a little suspicious of your intentions right now.
It should be here. My weapons that I ordered.
Yes.
I need to go pick them up.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to persuade him is that's the only thing I'm doing.
So it'd be his persuasion versus
Okay.
my
So-
perception.
It would be actually versus your persuasion versus insight.
Damn it, I'm not proficient in insight.
Well, that's your fault.
I'm proficient in perception. That's all I'm gonna do.
19.
You're a rogue. Insight is one that you can take as a class skill. Ergo, it's your own fault.
Yeah, I know. I need to upgrade that one when I can't
Yeah,
to
19.
insight.
Thank you.
14.
Nicely done, but no. Okay, so what are you? Let's hear this persuasive argument. I need to actually hear it, and I may ask you to roll a d20 if it's shitty.
Well, since we're here in the blacksmith time, the last time we were here in town, before we got here, I had some custom weapons made, and no, not custom. I had my weapons customized with improvements, and I requested them to be sent here before we left on this journey to go to the tower. I got word while wandering around inquiring all the blacksmiths and tinkerers that I needed for the dragon that they were ready. So I'm just gonna go pick them up. Quick errand, should be gone more in a couple hours. I'm just gonna go get that because I've been talking to people all day to get them to come work for us.
The answer is that is viably acceptable to you, and there's no reason on earth for you to disbelieve that particular line. I mean, thank you, by the way, for making that like narratively accurate. I appreciate you.
Because I still need the stats on the weapon, so we can do that next week. But I'm gonna head out to shit. It was in the shittier part of town, so I have to go back to kind of by the temple because that's where I found it. Teleporter.
Religious district.
So heading to the religious district to get my stuff that I had portaled in.
And then might make your way down to the Temple of Tiamat.
Yes.
And what are you doing while they go on this journey, Ronin?
I just go to the bar. I mean,
You gonna go to the bar and wait for the bird?
wait for the bird. Wait for the
Me get back.
Dragonborn. Aren't you a Dragonborn?
So we will get back to what you're doing in the Temple of Tiamat, and then that's where we're going to end things is after that. But before we get there, Ronin, as you go wandering back towards the bar that you last hung out with Kelora at, and walk through the doors, oh, back already, love? From the barmaid, from one of the random barmaids that was wandering through. Fancy yourself another drink tonight?
Make it not too strong. I still got work I gotta do.
Right. So mild ale then.
Correct.
And what brings you in this evening?
Oh, my party had to separate for a little bit, so I'm hoping that they will work their way. One of them will work their way back here. One of them knows where I'm going. The other one just took off, so I'm hoping they'll wander their way back in here.
Wouldn't happen to be a bird with a metal beak, would it?
Correct.
Well, good news is we've seen her. She stopped by for some meat and ale, and then made her way off, muttering about armor being terrible and needing hers fixed and improved.
Yeah, that was about the last time we saw her too.
She was not about that yet.
Well, she was wondering about the same thing when she first took off.
What did you, Joel? Happened to that poor bird that all of a sudden she decided this?
She got zapped by something, apparently got hit by something that did a little bit of damage psychologically.
Tickled her fancy real good.
Little bit of damage psychologically. How much damage did you physically to cause that damage?
Fried chicken comes to mind.
About that. Have you ever taken chicken and dipped it in bread and flour and then fried it in an oil or a fat?
Well, yeah, I work in a tavern.
So you are familiar with fried chicken.
And basilisk and goat.
So just think fried
An
chicken,
elf.
just with their feathers still on.
Well, that's a smell. Are they alright? That sounds terrible. I couldn't live through it.
They barely lived through it, and no, I don't think they're all right. There
I
a lot
wouldn't be
wrong with
either.
that
And they
bird
just
to
kind of
begin-
shrug hearing they're not alright.
There wasn't a lot right with the bird to begin with. It just made it a little worse.
At this point, the waitress kind of looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and says, "Dear, there ain't nothing right with any of you."
I never said there was anything right with me.
I've seen your group. Y'all a bunch of wingnuts. Without a street corner to hold down.
But anyways, what do you have for dinner?
Food. Something dead, something meaty, something filling, and something good.
What is it?
Best you not ask them tonight. We call it dinner surprise.
So, what I used to call the throwouts, where you take everything that's about to be thrown away and you kind of mix it all together before you have to throw it away.
That was GN, yeah.
Yeah, it is leftover night.
Pretty much leftover.
We got a lovely stew out of it though, so I'd highly recommend that part over the roast.
I will take a bowl of stew and a medium ale.
Right then. And that brings us around. As you sit down to your meal and your beer and you wait for Kelora to arrive. To Torin, who you have managed to give the slip and are now.
I am going to legitimately pick up my weapons because I'm using them.
Well, you managed to get back to the blacksmith, pick everything up, and yes, it was very much done for you by this point. I'll give you stats on that by next week. And I'll work on that partially tomorrow while I'm working on a new player that we have coming. And,
I'm going to head over to the Temple of Tiamat.
the people, the two,
Priests that were there last time?
nuns that are standing at the doors on either side that you just noticed coming in during the day this time perk up almost. You see light in their eyes as they open the doors to you. They were not here the last time you were.
Okay.
And as the doors open, you see everything ornately decorated in gold and gems. The temple seems to have been invigorated to some degree.
Oh. Okay. Gonna ask them to talk to the high priest.
The first, novice, basically, that you come across, the high priest,
Mm-hmm.
which,
For which head? Or for T1?
which high priest? I mean, there are 12 in the temple whole, all of them presiding over a specific set of hours. What hours were you last here?
About sundown, right? Sundown?
Oh, so you need the priest of the setting sun. Got it.
That one will recognize me, but any priest I think should do for what I need.
Well, if you're certain then, I'll be back in a moment. Please take a seat. And she points to what will be the Catholic equivalent of a large number of lined pews. You see a few people sitting here and there, but there's definitely, it's like post-apocalyptic church sermon type congregation is sitting here.
Not many parishioners.
Or clergy. Post-apocalyptic church, as far as you can tell in so many ways, as far as what you would expect as far people-wise. As you take a seat, wait for what seems like 20, 30 minutes, long enough to get lost in the murals, the depictions of a great five-headed dragon being beaten by a human on the back of a silver dragon, and then rising from her grave, being sent to the hells, taking power there. All these murals cover the walls, showing the full lore of Tiamat, all the way back from AD&D forward. So you know probably more than most players do at that point.
Yeah.
You read all those old Dragonlance novels, I'm sure of it.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Legend of Huma.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all painted along the fucking walls. So, if you don't know, Chris, I highly recommend doing your research. It's worth it. But it's a lot more than I should explain, and a lot of that's copyrighted. And Margaret Hawaii's and Taper Tracy Hickman do not deserve my copyrighted infringement. They're not Wizards of the Coast.
So, as I'm gonna take it all in, do I get the same priest I had when they show up, or a different one?
Actually, it's a completely different person.
Did
This
they
time,
recognize you because of what I did in your last time?
no. This person would have been asleep in their chambers at the time.
But that priest would have talked about it, maybe.
Not here. It's an evil temple. We don't talk about the evils other people bereft, no matter what they may be.
Alright, so as they come, what do I see as they come in?
The woman that walks through the door, and they are clearly feminine, is approximately 6'4". She maybe weighs 180 pounds, though. Very thin, lithe,
Dark black scales cover her body.
Right.
Her eyes glow an eerie, almost cat's eye green. She's dragonborn like you. The symbol of Tiamat carved into her scales right here before what we would expect to be cleavage starts. And emblazoned in an eerily like the way that it's been enchanted to her, it's almost like the inks that were used to tattoo it and carve it into her scales are iridescent by nature from the magics they contain.
Okay.
And she looks at you. Ah, the newest one. Welcome. Would you... What can I do for you this evening? Or afternoon, excuse me.
I need to speak to Tiamat.
She smiles. Her teeth showing. Don't we all?
I have something she's requested.
On you?
Mm-hmm.
Very well. Come with me.
I follow.
She leads you down many corridors, winding and twisting deeper and deeper into the earth, well beyond where you thought the walls of this temple should extend based on how the city structure is built. Downward and outward as if trying to arc beyond all the other underground temples.
Mm-hmm.
Deeper and deeper into the ground until it opens up into a bulbous caldera like you would expect in the inside of a magma chamber of a volcano.
Like the one I got sucked into?
Yes.
I found it.
Completely different one.
But same thing.
Same exact thing, just different location, different one. In this particular case, though, the walls are etched with runes that glow as you enter. She smiles. Perfect. This is exactly where you need to be. It's your funeral. And she turns, walks away, and the last thing you hear is a very heavy, grated iron door slamming and the bolt locking. And we're not talking like lock bolt, we're talking like barred. Yes. Do yell when you're done, she says before sliding shut a shutter over the bars in the main. And you are left in this dark room with nothing but glowing runes, and a pedestal and a knife.
I'm gonna walk over to the pedestal, assuming that it's to summon her is the same way it would have to do to get my ability. Is there something to pour my blood into, or I just spill it on the pedestal?
The pedestal is concave. It looks like there's a bowl there. It is dry. There is a very thin line of red crustation. Well, maybe red. The light here is kind of blue-green, so you can't tell.
I'm gonna slice my hand above the bowl and let my hand bleed into there. See, I'm not gonna fill it, but I'm gonna let like a pint go. Right, okay, but not woozy.
After about the first 2 minutes of standing there just squeezing and pumping your fist to let it drop in,
I'm gonna
you
call
hear
her.
a, "That's enough."
Thank you.
And the image, if not the form itself, of the mother of dragons, as she is, forms in the blank walls as the runes fade away. Oh, I thought I smelled something delectable. So, what news have you for me?
I'm gonna humbly grab everything that I smuggled out of the... I got all this from the Gold Dragon. His information on the one we seek. Everything I can get my hands on.
Perfect. Is the owner aware?
No, I was smart about it.
You got lucky on those rolls about it, but we'll call it smart about it for storyline. So, very good. Perfect. Does it still live?
We are in the middle of creating a gateway to get there. We still need to find a couple things that I am not 100% sure how to get one of the items. I have a line on getting two of the building materials, but there is a cauldron of everything that I have no idea how to get.
Oh.
Just wondering if you could help.
I can tell you where it might be, but I can't tell you whether or not the original creator still has it.
A lead is a lead.
So, you'll be taking yourself to the astral plane. There's a place known as the Rock of Brawl. There, you will find a magic shop. In the magic shop on the rock is a witch of sorts. It's her cauldron. In a place where she will never age, the vain creature she is. Meow. And I'm sure she will be quite happy to help you, should the price be right.
Any ideas of what you might want?
Well, I'm no wizard. Why would I know what magic users want? I'm a god, lad. What do I want for? I sent you all to do the things that are beyond my fucking attention.
My apologies.
Alright. So, as to getting there,
Because since I have never been to the astral plane, how or who should I talk to or figure out how to get there to retrieve this so that we can finish building this portal?
well, your dragon friend might be able to help.
If that doesn't work.
A wizard, a strong one, will work. They'll suffice, but there is the chance that you will get mislocated.
I would prefer that not happen.
Wouldn't we all? Do you know how much easier it will make my life if you succeed?
I can only imagine.
As long as your friends can't imagine, we're good.
It's fair. I'm short on time and I must return to them. Is there anything else you need for me before I leave?
She just looks at you and you watch as 5 heads in unison, like each one saying a different word. She looks at you and says, just do your fucking job. And all of a sudden, fear washes over you, like asking dumb questions gets you dumb prizes.
Well, no, I mean, might sound like a dumb question, but like,
She's evil.
I'm running around collecting weird shit. While I'm out, do you want a cupcake?
That depends. Is Cupcake a fairy?
I mean, I know a guy.
I could totally eat a cupcake if it's a fairy.
I will get one sent down to you.
If you find a fairy named Cupcake, bad things will happen to that fairy at this point.
Alrighty.
Alright, but I believe we're at 8 or so.
8, 12.
So we're going to call it a night for the evening.
Oh, I'm assuming she's releasing me to leave, and
Yes, she lets you leave and go back towards where you left Ronin.
So I'm gonna head back and meet up with Ronin. Yay! Do I run across Kelora and grab her on my way?
No. Word has been put out on the streets that you all are looking for Kelora, though. Turns out some of the people that you all hired were quite interested in making sure that you're happy with the prices you were offering. And good night, Anaya, and oh no is correct. Yep, that's right. We make him fairy muffins. Well, if the fairy's name's Cupcake,
Of course Tiamat wants to eat it. Who wouldn't want to eat a fairy named Cupcake? Unless you're that kind of dirty. If she's cute, why not?
I mean, eat Sarah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. Please remember, like, share, subscribe. Equate, thank you for telling us that it gets more interesting every episode. And we're looking forward to pre-recorded 2 after the new year because it'll mean that we can edit things, though that means more work for Anaya.
But they are excited for it, so.
Happiness is. Anyway, until next week. Oh, wait, there's an also. Uh-oh.
Also,
Dun dun dun.
don't eat Cheetos, Matt.
Okay.
Don't eat Cheetos, Mac. Okay, I'm good with that. I won't eat Cheeto macaroni and cheese, but Tiamat may eat Cupcake the Fairy.
Uh-oh. What happened? I want more work.
Yes, ma'am.
Either way, thank you again. We love you. Thank you for joining us. Like, share, subscribe.
And in the words of Pudgy,
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Bye.